What I wanted to comment on was it's in relation to Doge, but it really has more to do with who they're going after. Um, the federal bureaucracy funded gain of function research at a sketchy lab in China. And when the virus escaped, it killed millions of people. And as governments reacted to that, they spent trillions of dollars, increased our debt. Um, they attempted to cover it up. They caused the inflation problem that we are all still living with, and every American has suffered from. And it's just bubbling beneath the surface. It's going to be revealed that these COVID vaccines are very unsafe and ineffective, and I think that's going to come out very soon. And so when people are clutching their pearls about concerns about what Musk and Doge is doing, I mean the other side of the situation is so bad. To me, it's the biggest scandal that I've seen in my lifetime. It's orders of magnitude worse than January 6th, than Watergate, than any scandal I can think of in terms of the damage that it's done, not just to Americans, but to people globally. And I really can't believe that it's not leading every story out of mainstream media. I cannot imagine, the stuff they're covering, how this is being ignored. And so, to me, they will have nobody, AP, nobody in the media will have any credibility unless this is a major part of what they're trying to get to the bottom of.
Mike, I got to say, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know for sure the origins of the virus, but I know that there's plenty of reasons to be open to the story. And what could be a bigger story than the country with whom we're in an existential struggle for supremacy in the world through their actions, potentially destroyed millions of lives and trillions of dollars and brought the world to our heart, ruined the education arc of many children, at least in the short term. I mean, and how my colleagues in the media couldn't jump on this as the story of the century. How they could not jump on it, I do not understand. I do not understand. Now, unfortunately, I can give you partial reason, which is Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump, the minute the notion was came from the lab rather than the wet market. The minute that became a Trump idea, the press said, "Well, that can't be true. We're not gonna talk about that." This is, I talk about how the cover up of the loss of Joe Biden's mental acuity is the biggest media story in, I think, American history. Really think it's the biggest media story in American history. This is a pretty big media story, but it's also just a big story. And I will never understand. And I would love to bring on the editors of the division presidents of the 10 major mainstream media, dominant media organizations, and ask them, how could you not have thrown every reporter you have at this story? The New York Times covers the It Ends With Us movie controversy more than they covered this practically. It's just crazy. Ryan, am I going overboard or
No, that's
underboard?
such a great analogy about This Is Us. I could not care less about a story that gets large attention than that story about the movie. But I do know more about it than I care to know because it constantly covers it. You're right about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
particularly in the Times. The Times is very invested
Yes, they are. Well, they're being
in that.
sued, so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, they were invested before that. Um, Mike, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I will tell you this, and this happens with with weapons of mass destruction. It happened with Russia, which is for the media to acknowledge its failures would require an unprecedented level of self-reflection and public acknowledgement of professional malpractice. It's a lot to ask of an organization or an industry to say, we screwed this up. And if they were doing it honestly, it'd say, here's why we screwed it up. There's simply there's simply no justification for the failure, which persists to this day, as it does, by the way, on the cover up of the Biden mentally humulus, persists to this day, failure to cover it and to throw resources at it and to write editorials condemning the Chinese. You just don't see it, and I can't explain to you. But Mike,
Yeah.
you're right to raise it. I appreciate you raising it. Thank you, sir.